Hello, kiddos. Welcome to the Beige Planet podcast. I'm Paul Pate.
I'm Al Lawrence.
Our guest is Dr. Gyles Morrison.
Hello.
Welcome. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
It's midnight there. It's 7 p.m. here. You're in London.
That is very correct.
Can you tell us a little bit what you do?
Oh, I do quite a few things. The 9 to 5, when it is 9 to 5, because there's definitely times when it's the night shift and it's the weekend. I work as a junior doctor in York, but my family, most of my life is down here in London, and I happen to be down here at the moment. Apart from saving lives, I also run a not-for-profit company called Say It Loud. Does various projects, primarily those focusing around music for young people, as a means to keep them off the streets, doing something positive.
Okay.
Yeah, it says here you're a CEO, well, doctor first, CEO, musician, portrait artist, one thing that I'm very interested in, and an amateur chef. Can you tell us?
Oh, yes.
I wanted to watch the show. What's the name of the show again?
Come Dine With Me.
Come Dine With Me. I've never heard of it, but I'm not a big TV guy. Is that a show in England?
It's quite a big show in England. It's shown, I think it's what you guys, is it what you call prime time, which is like after 4 or 5 o'clock? Is that prime time for you guys?
Yeah.
After 5, that's when it's normally shown. And I was one of the 5 contestants. For that type of show, you have 5 contestants that all have to play host, provide a 3-course dinner and some sort of entertainment.
Wow.
And it was a Christmas special, so I did a Caribbean Christmas menu.
How did you do on the show?
I came joint second, and considering there was 5 of us and there was actually only 3 positions, there was joint first place, joint second, and then like that one person on their own last.
Okay, what was your winning, your second place meal, I should say?
It was the starter was it was an alternative to Jamaica's national dish, 'cause that's where my family originates from the West Indies. And our national dish of Jamaica is akis and saltfish. So akis, I don't know if you've ever seen them. You can probably get them in the States. They look and taste a little bit like scrambled egg if you've never had them before.
No, never had.
It's a fruit from West Africa, and we have that with salted cod. But instead of using salted cod, I use smoked salmon instead. So I had like a ramekin of smoked salmon and filled that with the akis and the onions and peppers and some spices, and served it with some plantain. I don't know if you guys have ever had plantain before. It's a cooking banana. You make sort of like chips out of it. So I served that as a starter. The main was really nice. That was like a traditional Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner for you guys, because I know you don't like having turkey for Thanksgiving. But I jerked the turkey instead, just to mix it up a little bit.
Jerk the turkey?
That's right. Oh, hang on. You lot have another meaning for jerk. Jerk here is actually a seasoning.
I'm familiar with the jerk.
Okay. Just checking, because we've got men here. They sometimes might have alternative meaning for certain words.
Yeah.
We're going to keep it clean today. Okay, Dr. G, that was one of the questions I had. How on earth do you find time to learn how to cook good like this? I mean, with everything that you've done, cooking, where does that come in? That's crazy.
You learn how to cook well when you leave your mother's home and you actually are used to good tasting food and you've got a figure to maintain. You know, it's nice to actually have a bit of meat on the bones. I don't want to waste away. So I had to learn to cook fast. Otherwise, I would have starved or been broke or both.
Awesome.
I can understand that.
So where did the name Dr. Hyphen come from?
Oh.
That's your online presence. You can find him on Twitter, Dr. Hyphen, right? I'm going to see if I can share my screen here. Hang on. So I got your Twitter page up.
Oh, cool.
What it does is it kind of covers up my face on the screen, and it shows your Hang on, you don't want to share a window. Oh, where'd you go?
Is that your Twitter handle?
Yeah. Yeah, his Twitter handle is Dr.Al.
Well, here we go.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it now. It's popped up.
Okay. So there he is, the dapper doctor.
Oh, yes.
So where'd the name Dr. come from?
Right. This was in year 11, which is, I think that's like the end of high school for you guys.
Right.
So before we go on to further education and then considering university and things. So we're in an English class. This is the top set for English. So this is supposed to be the smartest English students in the year. Right. So there was this student that came up to me. He was just an idiot. He was always acting like a god. He was the class clown, basically. So he's then come up to me and says, Gyles, what's that in your name? So when you see my whole name, it's actually hyphenated. It's something, it's a legacy of my kindergarten, what you call kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Day-Lewis. I don't know if she's got any relations to Dad Day-Lewis. Maybe, pretty cool if she did. But anyway, she decided to hyphenate my name. One of my middle names is Perry. So she decided to double barrel the Gyles Perry. So it's Gyles Perry Morrison. So the guy's seen the name now and he's saying, what's that in the middle? I said, it's a hyphen. He says, what's a hyphen? I said, that is when you are joining two names, two words together. It's double barreled. And he's saying, you're the only kid in the whole school who's hyphenated their name. And I'm thinking, you're just an idiot, because how can you not notice that Sarah Ann Conlon sitting behind me, Sarah Ann, has got a hyphenated name, and you're trying to say I'm the only person with a hyphenated name. He says, from this day forth, we're going to call you Hyphen. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go with this. I'll just take it, because it's actually an all right nickname still. So ever since, I've been called Hyphen, Chef Hyphen, Dr. Hyphen.
I just
12 years or something now.
I just followed you on Twitter.
Oh, wonderful. I shall follow back. I'll see if something pops up on the phone in a bit. I'll follow you back.
Okay. Awesome. And I just completely forgot what I was going to ask you. Oh, well, I wanted to get into your music endeavors.
Oh, yes.
Because I fancy myself as a amateur songwriter. Keyword amateur.
Sure. To start somewhere.
Yeah. Are you on by any chance on SoundCloud?
I'm not actually. I need to sort myself out, because the that I've done is I do a lot of music and I do quite a bit of teaching at times as well. But with regards to actually recording things, ready to put out there, like a proper studio edit, or even like a rough draft that you've done at home, it's very rare that I do that. So I've not pursued having a SoundCloud account, but I need to sort that out. Obviously, got a few videos on YouTube because of the stuff I've done with the young people. In fact, we made a video which is on there quite a few years back.
Sorry, what kind of music do you write, and what kind of equipment are you using?
I do quite a few different styles of music. Again, Jamaican heritage. I do like composing reggae, bit of neo soul and funk music as well. So,
awesome. Hey, Doc, Al wrote a screenplay, and one of the main characters in it the main character, she plays a violin. And I noticed you have a picture of yourself playing a violin. Do you really play the violin?
I do. Oh gosh, it's been quite a few years since I started. I started playing the violin when I was 8 years old, and at the end of this year, that will make it 20 years. Gosh, that's actually making me feel old.
I'm making you feel old.
Yeah.
How many?
You made me feel old earlier. I was in London before you were even born.
You were just a twinkle in the eye.
That's right.
Hey, how many different instruments do you play?
Not that many. My main instrument is definitely the violin, because, like I said, I've been playing that for 20 years. I also play the djembe. It's a type of African drum. Looks like sort of like a goblet shape with goat skin on top. I play that quite a bit. primarily self-taught. I've been playing that since 2009, actually, when I set up that not-for-profit company, Say It Loud.
Okay.
I play a little bit on the keys, like I compose on the keyboard a little bit. I compose a little bit on the bass, but they're not really instruments that I would necessarily want to perform on for a performance. I would rather give somebody else what I've composed.
Right, I understand that. Yeah, I use I can show it to you here real quick because I don't have any instruments. I'm completely self-taught, but I use this. It's a M Audio Oxygen workstation.
Yeah.
And it comes with this it automatically signs you up for a SoundCloud account. It's got thousands of different instruments on there, and the sound quality is you wouldn't know that everything was done on this little 25 key workstation. It's absolutely amazing.
Cool.
So if you're looking for something just to mess around with, I highly recommend that. Hopefully M Audio will now pay us for this.
Yes, quick shout out to our sponsor, M Audio. All right, hey, Dr. G, I got another question for you. My number 2 question was, are you impulsive? Because, it takes me a certain amount of time to, like, build up to, like I got some drawings back here. Here's my drawing of the, can you see? Anyway, I
little bit.
Yeah, but I don't have nearly the stuff. I'm older than you are, and I don't have nearly the stuff like that. I'm going to share my screen again because I'm going to go to your DeviantArt page. Hang on. Share screen. My favorite part was definitely the portraits. And here's my bad. Here's a portrait. These are just incredible to me. I love these because I love doing portraits too. But, I mean, you must just like get off of work, quick throw on take a shower real quick and just start drawing, and then whip together some gourmet meal and, play a song for your girl. And, how do you do all this stuff? It's crazy.
Well, to answer your question, I've never thought of myself as impulsive. With that said, a lot of the times when I am being creative, I am being quite impulsive. Like a good time is a couple of weeks ago, I knew I was going to be working 12 days in a row, every single day for 12 days. And I said to myself, Gyles, you're going to actually go and do some shopping on Wednesday. It's going to be delivered and you're going to cook 4 meals. And whenever I cook a meal, that meal itself should feed me 3-4 times easily. So I was in effect making, around 12, 16 portions of food in one night. And I thought, yeah, that's not a problem, is it? That's just easy. And it's fun, but I think that's what it is. It's easier to be impulsive with something that you actually enjoy.
Oops. Right.
If you don't actually enjoy what you're doing, then it makes it much harder to devote any time to it.
That last one of what's his name,
Legolas.
Yeah, that was phenomenal.
It was, but that wasn't me. I can't.
I was gonna say I accidentally got onto that one. Sorry.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually love your portraits though. I'm trying to. I'm technically challenged here. Sorry, guys.
Oh, okay.
That's all right.
Now I
We
see
forgive you.
There. I look like that guy, right? Yeah, I know. That's what I love about. I can just get that. I get that vibe from you. I mean, you do so many things, and you're just passionate about. Even when we first started talking about. Well, I know when we first started talking a long time ago, one of the things that you said stuck with me, and I keep this in mind because I was asking you, the similar question, like, you're a doctor, you went to med school. How do you find time to draw? And then I find out you play music and you cook, and you said. I refuse to suffer life. And I don't know if you remember saying that, but
I do remember. I do remember.
And that has stuck with me for a long, since then. It's been a while, and so when I feel like sleeping in, or I get distracted and I don't feel like doing the things that I'm passionate about, I try to remember that, because your passion definitely comes through in everything you do, and
that's good.
Yeah, you're definitely an interesting dude, man. It's good to know you. So
well, I'm glad that I've empowered you as well with that, because it's true, because it's so often to get bogged down with the 9 to 5, with paying bills, with having to deal with other people's stresses on top of your own stresses, and forget that you're put on earth to actually enjoy a lot of great things that are here for us, and it's important to take the time out to enjoy life.
Amen.
Right. Can you tell us a little bit more about your nonprofit?
Yeah. I set it up in.
I'm gonna try to bring that up again now. Sorry.
I set that up in 2009. It was whilst I was taking a break from medical school. I took a year out, and during that year out, did a lot of soul searching. To be honest, I grew as a young person, having a break from studies, and I thought, that this, where I was living in Tower Hamlets, I still live here when I come back to my mum's house. There's just so many young people who are incredibly talented. You will see a lot of graffiti artwork, which then unfortunately gets covered up with this horrible red paint, because it's illegal having the graffiti there. Right. But they can't just utilize it as sort of like a platform to showcase the talent of these young people. So it gets covered up with all this red paint. You've got a lot of kids who are on the street corners and they're beatboxing. They've got lyrics, they're rapping on the streets. And all this talent is being wasted. It's not being nurtured. It's not being encouraged. It's not getting documented or recorded in some way. It's not being shared. I thought, I've had enough of this, and I want people to know about the talents that these young people have got. I want them to be supported, and for them to even see that they could perhaps have a career out of their talents. And it was something I was very passionate about, something that I wanted everybody to know. So hence the name Say It Loud. I was mildly inspired by the James Brown song, but we don't just deal with black people, so I didn't want to limit us to just associating ourselves with the James Brown song.
I can tell you from my experience when my brief time in London, the street artists that I came across, especially in the Covent Garden area.
Oh yes.
You come across just some fantastic, talented people, yet here they are they're performing on the street for change.
That's right.
And some of them, I'm sorry, I'd rather go see them in concert than some of the acts we see, that are the quote unquote famous people.
That's true.
So I think that's a great thing, because you help these people get noticed.
Yeah, I think one of the big things we've done is I've gone back to my old secondary school, and I've provided free violin lessons for them, African drumming lessons for other teachers. In fact, the biggest project we did was for the Lord Mayor Show in 2012. So the Olympic Games had just completed, and it's a big parade through central London, the Lord Mayor Show. We were given £15,000 in order to build a float and to do various workshops, get the necessary equipment to prepare for the actual float itself. So we had virtually all of the kids we worked with. There was about 20 musicians. None of them had done African drumming before, perhaps only 2 of them. And the 2 saxophonists that we trained up from scratch, they only played for 2 months before performing.
Wow.
We're talking about 2 11-year-olds, and they were amazing. They still play the saxophone to this day, and that was, back in 2012. And it's been great doing things like that, because what it means to give a young person or a child the opportunity to learn an instrument when they didn't think they could learn that instrument. You've given them hope. You've given them an understanding of what they're capable of, because they've made something amazing from nothing. More importantly, they've made something amazing from the nothing that they didn't even knew existed. They didn't know that they could do something like that.
Well, that brings up a real quick question, because we're having problems here in the States when it comes to music in our school system. Is it the same in England?
It's a huge problem. And it's quite tragic because central government knows that we're not doing enough to teach the young people music, primarily having them learning instruments from a young age.
Right.
It's common to do the violin, but definitely something like your woodwind, your brass instruments, it's rare. It's very, very rare. And they know about it, but at the same time, music lessons on the national curriculum is being cut. You know, you get music teachers that are being made redundant because there's not enough lessons, so you don't need so many teachers.
Right. Yeah, it's the same thing going on here. They're cutting music left and right. And I think it's disgusting that they're doing that.
It's wrong.
That's funny you guys mentioned that. I wanted to go, the superintendent of our school is actually 2 houses down from me, and I've been wanting to go ask him, like, but, you know, because they're building, like, you should see our school. It's got this huge football stadium. You know, my school, or where my kids go, is incredible, and they're talking about building a band room or something like that. And so he's going around promoting, you know, vote yes on this tax. But yeah, I decided we're going to do this instead of me going over there. So anyway, sorry to interrupt. By the way, Say It Loud is I got it up on the screen here. sayitloud.org.uk.
Oh, remember the hyphens in between.
Right. Yeah, Dr. Hyphen says, remember the hyphens. Say-loud.org.uk. So, yeah, this is, wow, man. I'm inspired, but I'm also feeling kind of like a bum. Like I'm feeling kind of lazy, you know? Are you getting that, Al?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm like, I think I could do a little more.
Step it up, man. I mean, I know you worked hard today, but wow.
Yeah, I did. We'll talk about that later. But no, I'm also very, because I saw you the music, and also the creative writing. That's another thing that seems to be lacking with our younger generation these days. Is the no one wants to write anymore, it seems.
And it's something I've noticed as well. There's a lot of emphasis when I was a student back in high school, what you lot would call it. The emphasis was learning some Shakespeare, never understanding the language that he wrote in, just never understanding it. And then there was the anthology, which was a series of poems that the examining board picked. Those poems would be used for, I think, 4 years at a time. So virtually all the English students, the whole nation wide, would have to pick, I think, 4 or 5 of those poems, analyze them, come to conclusions that someone else came to, not necessarily you came to, and then just write about it and hope that you wrote it very well to then get a high grade. There wasn't so much emphasis on actually creating something from scratch, which I thought was unfortunate, because you get that empowerment to do that when you're much younger, you know, to be imaginative. And if you're doing something like design technology, by virtue, you have to be imaginative. But with English, there seemed to be so much more emphasis on the literature and language side of things, but in the sense of studying someone else's work rather than creating something new. And it's a big problem, because how are we supposed to be a generation better than that of, you know, 100, 200, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, if our creative minds are not that creative anymore?
Right, and that's that leads to one of my big problems is, you know, as trying to be a screenwriter, Hollywood just doesn't seem to want to do anything new.
Not
Yeah,
at
they're
all.
remaking. They're remaking the surfer movie. Johnny Utah. What are they?
Oh my, yeah, and they're. I heard they're remaking the movie Endless Love.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like why would you spend some millions of dollars on something that's a copy of something, right? I mean, when you got so many people that are talented
It's
and
because it's just so easy to do that. Because I think the worst thing is actually them remaking Fantastic Four, because the Fantastic Four movies only came out maybe like 5-6 years ago, something like that. Wasn't that
yeah,
long ago, was it?
they're remaking
they did the
those.
same thing with they did the same thing with Spider-Man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They
Re-kick it
were
off. Yep.
yeah they were less than 10 years old and they already started
Yeah.
reboot.
To be fair, I kind of think this new Spider-Man's going to be better than the other one.
I do agree. I took my nephew to the first remake.
Yeah.
And I was actually very impressed with it.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was a lot better than the other ones. But
the main thing is, what I preferred about it is that was how you're supposed to do a comic book movie, in the sense that you've got a comic book, you've got various rules or various facts about the character. You don't play around with it. Like, for example, he actually had to create his webbing in the comics, and that's what happened in the Amazing Spider-Man, rather than just stripping this about it just actually coming out of his wrist, because spiders have arms and their webbing comes out of 2 of their arms. It didn't make any sense to me at all. So,
but, I mean, with all the remakes, it's a lot of voices are being silenced. You know, there's people out there that do have they have fantastic ideas.
Yeah.
But the industry won't. They won't touch them, and 2, they make it virtually, from experience, they make it impossible to get your stories even noticed.
Yeah.
And we were talking, I can't remember who we were talking to, it was a friend of yours, Paul, where he said it's about who you know.
Yeah.
And if you just don't know anybody, you know.
Yeah, you're just some schlub in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
I think I know who you're talking about. Is that Frank?
Yeah, Frank and Jacobs.
Yep. Yeah.
Frank and Jacobs.
I saw your podcast with him.
Oh, great. Great.
That's pretty good.
Hey, we got 3 viewers.
Yeah, I know. My mom and Dr. G. All right. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm sure my mom's going to be a big fan of yours, Doc. You're an inspiration, dude. It's been great to have you on. We're at the spot now where we just pick something random. So I'm going to go first, Al, because mine's real quick. I don't know if you saw my note, Doc, and so you got some random event that happened recently to you that's just weird. I read a little bit of your blog, so I know you got stuff to tell, you know. Anyway, Al, I was talking to one of our viewers, and she said that we should stop talking about Halle Berry. It's making us look bad.
How is that making us look bad?
I don't know. I mean, I told you weren't going to like it either. I mean, you know, Halle Berry's a nice girl, and
she is.
She hasn't been in any controversy lately, has she?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I just want her to play the adult Rose.
Right. Dr. G, in case you don't know, Al's screenplay is about Rose, and it covers her from her childhood to her adulthood, and so we decided Halle Berry would be the adult Rose, and she's
have you told her?
No, I haven't.
No.
I forgot. Last time we talked, I forgot to bring it up.
Yeah. Completely slipped my mind.
Of course, she didn't know Al was there.
Well, she knew the restraining order just showed up today. I just went blank. No, I've actually had her in mind though for a long time. I think
a lot of men have had her.
See, no, I don't know. See, I think that might be what she was talking about right there. We're just talking about the screenplay.
Yeah. All I was going to just bring up is in the last 2 days I had a root canal, a wedding, and then I did several hours of hard labor today on a 1/4 mile driveway. I don't know. I posted a picture of the driveway on Facebook today. I don't know if you saw it, Paul.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah.
It's got to be.
It looked like a Stephen King scene, a scene from a Stephen King movie. You know.
I'm a part-time health aide for a 84-year-old Parkinson's patient.
That is hard work.
Yeah, very, very hard work. And I also help. He's actually. Sorry about that. He's my dad's best friend, and I help him and his wife around the house too. She recently had a stroke, so I try to help out as much as possible. So I was doing some driveway repair because I don't know how the winter was in England, but it was horrible here. And it just tore everything up. We had a massive ice storm, epic cold, epic snow. Sorry, that was.
It was so bad the cats were howling. It was a brutal winter, man. That
was my phone that meowed. It sounded like a cat though.
Hey, Al, I wanted you to tell Dr. G something. He was giving us some tips on our podcast earlier today, this morning, and he said, you know, about branding, and I wanted you to tell him where you came up with Fear of a Beige Planet.
Well, it started out actually as a joke. There's a friend of mine. He's from the next town over from me, and he's like me. He's racially mixed. We're both half
I
white.
did notice.
He's half white, half black, and we were making fun of the album Fear of a Black Planet, and so we came up with Fear of a Beige Planet.
Who's Fear of a Black Planet? Never heard of it.
I haven't heard of it anyway. I had to nod because he's talking to me. It would be
that rap group with Eazy-E and all them in it. It was NWA or something.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, NWA. And they had this album called Fear of a Black Planet. And so we came up with Fear of a Beige Planet because we consider ourselves beige. We're, Bayesian Americans. But it kind of, he kind of separated himself from it and, went on his own way. But it kind of stuck with me, and and it just expanded into, because the reason I did the quote unquote thing with the word race is because I don't believe in different races. There's different cultures, different ethnicities, but we're all one human race.
That's right.
So I created a Facebook page, Fear of a Beige Planet, and it's about being proud of who you are, not letting society tell you who you are.
Yeah.
And whether you're white, black, mixed with whatever, you're a Heinz 57 sauce, who cares? You're a human being and you should be treated as such.
That's right. That's right.
So I kind of turned it into I think as Paul described, as a social awareness. I see, any issues of discrimination. I'll post about that. So it's been an ever expanding thing, and then we kind of turned it's expanded even more now because now the Beige Planet podcast.
You're making me feel beige.
We're recovering. One of the beautiful things about being human is the art that we create, whether it's drawing, whether it's writing, whether it's music, and especially with music. Music has no boundary. People have always come to me and say, why do you listen to Irish? Because I love Irish music. Why do you listen to Irish music? Why shouldn't I listen to Irish music? What's wrong with Irish music? I'm not going to limit myself because society says I have to listen to rap or hip hop.
So it's okay. It's okay if I listen to disco, some of that really bad disco. What's wrong with it, man?
Paul. It depends on whether you're going to be doing an accompanying dance.
Oh, you know it. Don't make me get up, man.
I love reggae music. I love all styles of music. I've got African music. I came across this woman from Uzbekistan, just the most phenomenal voice I'd ever heard. I happened to find it on a channel that they specialize and they show music from all around the world. And in Europe, you'd have better access to music like that than we do here. On the radio here, you're not going to find any international stuff.
No, I'm not surprised.
Unless it's 3 chords and a bass drum, that's all you're going to get here on the radio. People who truly appreciate music, they got to go out and look for it. I mean, it's a fight. So,
that's a shame, considering how big America is. You would have thought that you would get a huge variety out there.
A huge country with a very small mind. Yeah. So you gotta. It's a battle, man. It's a struggle. Sometimes.
That's been a big problem though with a lot of musicians. A lot of English bands that have come over here struggle because America is so huge. You basically could divide it up into sections of, okay, I'm successful over in this quarter, and maybe this quarter I'm doing all right, but these 2 quarters they don't want my music. I've heard a lot. They've complained about, we're too big. If you make it in America, you've made it.
Yeah.
If you can get pretty much, the whole country to follow you. But it's been a struggle for a lot of musicians, just because the tastes are so varying. Now, one advantage I had, and Paul kind of had it too, is because he moved to East Lansing to go to school at Michigan State. Is having Michigan State University here, we get cultures from all around the world, and they bring their music with them. So that does kind of help too.
Yeah, dude, that was an eye opener, man. When I first met you there, I came from a pretty diverse background, but my family was conservative, and I was born in Texas and lived there for a little while, and so
he wasn't allowed to dance.
Yeah, so when I got my chance, I was ready. Anyway.
Footloose is a documentary about Paul.
Yeah. Anyway, Doctor, you got anything, Doc, strange, random that happened to you that you want to share?
Strange, random things.
No horror stories, please.
I'm just thinking now.
Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot, man.
Yeah, I've definitely been put on the spot.
We asked you all these questions, man, and you were just like, you were going, this is probably the best podcast we've had. Finish up strong.
I can't really think of anything that strange very recently, to be fair. Things have been okay.
Good.
This is nice. It's nice for things to just be normal and calm for a change.
I know how that is, man. I know how that is. Well, hey, listen, it's been great having you on, Doc. Anytime
it's been wonderful.
Yeah, we got to keep in touch. Anytime you want to come back on, I know I want to see your podcast coming out soon.
Yeah, I'm inspired now. I'm definitely inspired to do my own.
Cool, because I think you'd be great at it, So, anytime you want to come back on, we'd love to have you, man. Any projects you're working on?
This time next week?
Let's do it. All right, folks. Cool. That's been the Beige Planet Podcast. I'm Paul Pate.
And I'm Al Lawrence.
Thanks, Dr. Gyles Morrison. You've been an inspiration, and we'll talk soon, dude.
Cool. It's been a pleasure.
All right.
Thanks for coming.
Bye now.